Coming up, Miami police help in a massive meth bust. And a federal agency scrutinizes Missouri's child welfare agency. Also, violence at a Joplin rally for abortion rights.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. Had a little bit of rain over the weekend.
A little bit of rain, a little bit of chill in our Monday morning air, that's for sure. Dropped as low as 52 earlier this morning. Right now we sit at 54 over 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. High humidity, but with it being that cool, you really don't notice it. One thing you will notice with the humidity though, we got some patchy fog. It's not too bad. It's certainly not as bad as what it was there on Friday, but yeah, low-lying areas and your agricultural areas, it's going to be a little bit hard to see. So low beams, a lot of room between you and other drivers. We all know the drill. Temperatures ranging as low as 50 right now in Fort Scott and Sedan. A couple of 51s in Iola and Nevada. 58, however, in Monette, and 60 right now in Cassville. I apologize. I left out in Neodesha and Parsons. I did not see them just drop right there down to 47. So yeah, it's a little bit cool outside. Look at the big trough of the jet stream, making an L shape, coming straight out of Canada, dropping right down to the Gulf, and then departing out to the east. But since we get on the east side of it, that certainly does mean some cooler morning temps. Now, this afternoon's not going to be too bad, though. We're going to get plenty of sunshine today. It's going to be absolutely wonderful this afternoon and work up into the high 70s. So we'll see a good 20-25 degree increase and be able to really ride nice temperatures for our first full week of October. Don't look at that right-hand side. Don't, just, no. You like 78, 74, 76. Those are delightful temperatures.
Why'd you draw my
We will tackle that later.
Yeah. Enjoy the first part of this week.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Miami police helped bust an alleged California drug kingpin accused of shipping thousands of pounds of meth to the 4-state area. Luis Alfredo Jacobo is accused of running drug rings that brought around 2,000 pounds of meth to northern Oklahoma and southwest Missouri. Jacobo was arrested on Monday in Bakersfield, California, and one of the arresting officers is a member of the Miami Police Department. Miami PD teamed up with police in Grove, the DEA, the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, and many other investigative agencies to bring Jacobo and his conspirators to justice.
Worked the case backwards up through the kingpin, if you will, and flew out there with the DEA task force and finished up their case.
9 other people were arrested with Jacobo on various drug conspiracy and criminal enterprise charges, including William Donovan Johnson III and Shawnee Brian Callaghy of Grove and Kelly Wayne Bryan of Joplin. Missouri's Child Welfare Agency does not properly report missing foster children. That's according to a new federal report. A report from the U.S. Inspector General's office also found that the agency does little to ensure that kids who were missing and are found do not go missing again. Federal agency recommended that Missouri develop strategies for identifying foster children who are at risk of going missing and better monitor caseworkers to ensure they follow reporting requirements involving foster children. Protests across the country on Saturday demanded continued access to abortion following the newest Texas abortion law, most restrictive in the country. All right. In Joplin, protesters lined 7th and Rangeline to oppose the new abortion law and to protest the lack of abortion services in the Show Me state.
It's a nightmare right now.
Across the country, people are marching to oppose the new Texas abortion law. Here in Joplin, that's happening at 7th and Rangeline.
When the Texas ban came, and then we saw the need to march nationwide.
Jamie Lindsay, the editor-in-chief of Julie Joplin Media, says she organized the march in Joplin to bring awareness to the lack of abortion resources in Missouri.
There's only one place in the state that you can get an abortion at, and that's in St. Louis.
That's a 4 to 5 hour drive from Joplin each way. And even when you get there, it's not an easy process.
There's already a 72-hour hold for abortion, so you have to basically travel twice or stay in St. Louis for a few days.
With access already restrictive, Joplin residents are worried it could get even worse.
We anticipate that they will continue to try to do similar things of what they've seen done in Texas.
Protesters say it's about a woman's right to choose.
No uterus, no opinion.
Women in Missouri, individuals who support women in Missouri, don't believe it's the government's right to make these decisions for our body.
I have no man, no woman, and no government, because it's my body and my choice.
Now, those in favor of accessible abortion are trying to bring awareness to the lack of services, and that action shouldn't stop at these rallies.
What we can do is just continue to speak our voices, continue to push this reproductive freedom that we should have access to, and obviously call our senators, call our representatives.
Counter-protesters against abortion showed up as well, but declined to speak with KOAM. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Now, during the rally in Joplin, a fight broke out between two people, and that's according to the Joplin Police Department. They tell us a woman was assaulted by a man who was taken into custody. Jamie Lindsay, the event organizer, also tells KOAM she was choked by a woman. When asked for details, the JPD said they were unaware of the second assault at this time and that it was an ongoing investigation. In 2019, Missouri enacted a law prohibiting abortions at 8 weeks of pregnancy. It has yet to take effect after being blocked by courts. Plenty of people gathered in front of Ascension Via Christi in Pittsburgh Saturday afternoon to protest the hospital's vaccine mandate. Back in late July, the hospital network announced that it would require its associates to be vaccinated against COVID-19. In a statement announcing their vaccine mandate, Ascension Via Christi said, quote, "This decision is rooted in our mission commitment to leading with quality and safety. As a healthcare provider and as a Catholic ministry, ensuring we have a culture of safety for our associates, patients, and communities is foundational to our work." One of the protest organizers explains why so many people are opposed to the mandate.
Have come together and asked people to recognize that we have a right of choice, a right to decide whether or not to have the vaccine. We want to share who we are and our stories about why we're here, and just let people know that we feel that the right should be to choose and not be forced or mandated upon us.
Organizers said they'd protest rain or shine and did so until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Plenty of kids from pre-K students up to 6th grade came out with their parents to Joplin High School track for the annual Kids Classic Fun Run. And this run is not just any traditional trek around the track. The young racers ran a course that took them off the track and through various parts of the school. Volunteers with the Joplin Roadrunners helped organize the event, and one of their members say it's a great way to get kids active and get them interested in running and jogging.
An event that helps kids stay active in the running community. A lot of kids nowadays, they're stuck inside, so this is a great event to get kids out here.
This was the 35th annual Kids Classic Fun Run. The event was free and open to the public, and the kids even got t-shirts for participating. It's 5:07.
That's where it all starts. And the next thing you know, you hear these words out of your teenager's mouth: "Dad, I want to run cross country." And you go, "All right, you're crazy, but all right." There you go. No, good job by the Roadrunners right there. 77 degrees and sunny skies for this afternoon. Going to be a good looking Monday, despite the fact that we've got as low as the 40s this morning, but looking dry and looking nice and mild here for the first 4 days. Then we got a heat wave coming our way the weekend.
Look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, did the Gorillas continue to dominate rival MSSU? You find out. Plus, a new box office record this weekend. Does this mean you're headed back to the theater? And a needle-free way to vaccinate. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
It's the 4-Day Super.
Trying to do so on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles. A win gets the Chiefs back to 500. However, they were trailing by a field goal early, but when you've got that dude named Patrick Mahomes and he finds Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the shovel pass into the end zone, and then Mahomes to Tyreek Hill. I'm going to hear a lot more of that name coming up. Mahomes' third touchdown pass of the day. It is Jody Fortson. Hoop. Gobble it up. 21-13 in the fourth quarter. Here comes Hill back in for his second TD. And why stop there? Tyreek Hill's going to grab a 44-yarder, tying him for fourth most total receiving touchdowns in franchise history. Chiefs come out on top 42-30. Andy Reid making history, his 100th win with two NFL teams, one of them being the Philadelphia Eagles, the other one being the Kansas City Chiefs.
This league is crucial, and be able to have the guys that we have, and you're going to see week by week they're getting better and better and better. And they obviously they have the talent. It's about working together and building those relationships. And Clyde's running the ball really well. Other guys are stepping in and running the ball really well. And I think you saw today, once you run the ball a lot, defenses will come up a little bit, and you can kind of hit them over the top.
Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern squaring off in the Miners Bowl over the weekend. The rivalry between the two schools been a little lopsided over the past handful of years. Gorillas winning the matchup 25 of the last 26 meetings.
This year, Pittsburgh State came away with another victory over Missouri Southern, but the game itself was a battle to the end.
We did not back down from a challenge. We did not back down from them, and our kids continue to battle. Our kids continue to fight. That's the part I'm proud of.
Pittsburgh State regained the lead in the final 5 minutes, ultimately winning 20-16. It was the play leading up to that touchdown, a 51-yard punt return, that changed the game for the Gorillas.
It took that return by Caleb to get us a little bit of momentum and wake us up on the sideline.
Missouri Southern struggled to find the end zone all day, settling for 3 field goals in the first 3 quarters.
Man, we drove up and down the field. We had such success. I don't know what we ended up with rushing yards, but we controlled the clock. We moved the ball. We played. I thought we were more physical than them at times. And so now, man, if you turn those field goals into touchdowns, the ball game's different.
The Pitt State defense put on a strong performance.
They had our back all day. I mean, went down, I threw the pick, and they stopped them for the rest of the half, so until the end there. But yeah, I mean, they were huge. They kept picking us up, so very thankful for them.
They certainly kept us in the football game the entire 60 minutes, and we needed them because we weren't playing very well at all on the offensive side.
Still, PSU managed to get the job done.
We haven't really faced adversity like that all year, so it was good to see the team come out and respond. Not happy with it, but the dub's a dub.
Anytime you win in a close one, it shows just that you got grit. You have grit on your team, and you know how to win. Great teams, good teams do that. They know how to win in the end, even when you're struggling.
Of course, that was KOAM sports reporter Danny Terzer reporting. Both teams hitting the road next weekend. Pittsburgh State to Northwest Missouri State. Missouri Southern on the road to Jeff City to go play Lincoln. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, developing countries lagging behind in COVID vaccinations, and a check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Just a touch past 5:17, great time for weather on the 7s. Our daily almanac for this October the 4th. Really right on par with what we're seeing this morning, because we're down into the low 50s, if not high 40s, and know that we're going to get around 77 degrees. So those average highs and lows kicking right in right there. Look at that record low from 1968. Got down to 34 degrees on the 4th of October. There we are over 7th and Rangeline, where it's a cool 54. Don't have to fight any wind though, and even with the high humidity, it certainly doesn't feel too bad. And the Skywatch Storm Tracker going to remain very, very clear, not only for us, but we're going to have one of those beginning of the weeks where the entire Midwest is going to stay dry and clear as well. Now, with that being said, with the increase of humidity, we do have a little fog that's kicking in right now. Visibility numbers not too bad. It's really low-lying and agricultural areas. When you go through those on the highway, that's where you're going to notice it the most. And it's sporadic. It's kind of hit or miss. It's not widespread, nor is it dense per se. Temperatures have been as low as 47 there in Neodesha and in Parsons. Compare that to 60 that Cassville is hanging on to, and 58 in Monette, 54 in Miami. And let's roll a 51 right now in Pittsburgh. Compare that to where we were on a Sunday morning, and we do see some double-digit drops on there. So a little bit cooler than what we had over the weekend. Very definitive L shape with the jet stream right here as it comes off the Pacific and gets up into Canada, and boom, drops straight north-south, and then works west to east. Now, usually we get a trough like that, and you'd be thinking about some thunderstorm activity, but really it's all confined up to the Great Lakes for today. As we throw on the severe thunderstorm risk map, it's almost just the Mississippi being the dividing line of anybody who's even going to see any rain. Speaking of rain, let's run out and take a check on the tropics as Sam remains a Category 2. Just about pushing its way north of what would be parallel with Maine. So it's just about a thing of the past. And speaking of thing of the past, Victor is as well. Victor is now post-tropical. Back here in the 4 states, sunny skies, highs around 77, 78 degrees overnight. We're going to drop back down to the 50s, but you'll notice everything is just kind of, it's very, very sporadic as far as the rain goes. Anything we do see probably Wednesday, it's going to be our best bet, and it just kind of almost throws it over from the Ozarks, but that's not even going to be widespread nor consistent. Then we got a heat wave coming our way for the weekend. We're looking at high 80s, 90s. They're on Friday and Saturday. All right, time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our Something to Talk About. As far as the box office goes, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings defeated by another Marvel Comics character, Rick Demigello with the story.
Just be glad we get to have real ice cream.
Musical-turned-movie Dear Evan Hansen debuted in second place last weekend, but tanked all the way down to fifth place this weekend with $2.5 million.
Don't cry, it's only me, Uncle Tony.
The Sopranos prequel film The Many Saints of Newark made off with $5 million and a fourth-place debut. And after ruling the box office in September, Disney Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings fell from first to third on ticket sales of just over $6 million.
This is the third dinner Wednesday has skipped this week.
Debuting in second place is the animated adventure The Addams Family 2, which scared up $18 million.
This is about me wanting to live without you.
Marvel's box office hero Shang-Chi was defeated by a Marvel anti-hero. Venom, Let There Be Carnage set a new pandemic-era milestone with its $90.1 million debut, besting Black Widow's 3-day opening of $80.4 million. The Hollywood Reporter says Carnage surpassed pundits' predictions by $25 to $30 million. The original Venom opened in October 2018 to $80.3 million. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Our question for you this morning, what's your preference when it comes to watching movies, theater or streaming it on the internet? Let us know by going to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Health Watch next.
Topping Health Watch this morning, COVID-19 shots, flu shots, childhood vaccines, even if we know we need them, getting protected can be a pain, literally. Researchers at UNC are developing a new technology that could make getting those vaccinations pain-free and without needles. Maggie Newland has more.
For James Todd, vaccines come with anxiety.
I'm not too fond of them. I actually have needle phobia.
He's not alone. According to the CDC, as many as 25% of adults and many children have a fear of needles, some so severe it prevents them from getting vaccinated. But one day, needles, at least the ones we're used to, may not be necessary.
It's pain-free and anxiety-free.
Dr. Joseph DeSimone at Stanford University is working with researchers at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, on a tiny patch that can deliver vaccines when applied to the skin.
And so our approach was to directly 3D print the microneedles and use a breakthrough in 3D printing that we pioneered.
The microneedles on the patch are so small they can hardly be felt. Dr. DeSimone says not only is the patch painless, it's also more effective than traditional shots.
We have 100 to 1,000 times more of the targeted immune cells in the dermis of our skin than we do in our muscle.
That means each person would require a smaller amount of vaccine. It also wouldn't need to be kept as cold as vaccines that are used in liquid form.
When you think about global access, you're going to need things like that.
Right now, the patch is being tested on animals. Dr. DeSimone says the results are promising, and within 5 years, he says this could be how you get your shots. Or more specifically, how you could give yourself your shots. Maggie Newland, CBS News, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Researchers are testing the COVID vaccine. They say this technology could be used for many types of vaccine against infectious disease. That's a look at today's top health story. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Tanya, it is like eerily still out there right now. It's almost too calm, if you know what I mean. Temperatures ranging anywhere from 45 all the way up to 60, end up in the 70s with sunshine today. Be back right after this.
Coming up, Miami police help in a massive meth bust. And a federal agency scrutinizes Missouri's child welfare agency. Also, a festival celebrated on porches.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We're starting off the day on a little bit of a chilly note. Let's go straight to Michael Hayslip.
One thing that's just odd, because I stepped outside to see how humid it was, and it is humid. It is just still. I mean, it's just kind of weird not to have any type of breeze, when you walk outside. I think you could have done the old pin drop, and you would hear it right now. 54 degrees is where we stand. That humidity is ranging in at 97%. We are clear, we are cool, and we are crisp. We do have some patchy fog. It is not dense. We do not have any advisories or anything of that nature, but just be wary of it. It's sporadic. Like I said, they're certainly not widespread. We've seen temperatures as low as 47s in Neodesha and Parsons. Cassville was at 60, now dropping to 58. Let's roll 54 in Miami and 55 in Carthage. The jet stream really forcing all the precipitation east of the Mississippi for today, as indicated by the severe thunderstorm risk map. Don't even see the marginal category turn up there. As far as what we're looking at temperature-wise, well, we'll actually have about a 20-25 degree increase because we're going to end up in the high 70s with a whole bunch of sunshine today. And we'll be dry on Monday and Tuesday. Our next real shot for any rain, and this is going to be very light and scattered, is going to be Wednesday. Kind of flips it over in a counterclockwise motion out of the Ozarks right here, and more so for really the east and northeastern portions of our counties. A 7-day forecast that of great October temperatures up until Friday. Then we got a heat wave that's going to emerge from the west coast, feed us high 80s, if not 90s, by the time we get to the weekend.
Yes, definitely enjoy it while it lasts.
Oh, next 4 days are going to be great.
Yeah, should be awesome. 70s?
If not morning sweatshirt weather.
You might be pulling out that long underwear early.
Good. Early?
Oh, you've already got it out. My bad. He's wearing it today.
I had it ready to rock this morning.
Oh, goodness. All right. All right, thanks, Michael.
I was on top of it.
Police in Miami, Oklahoma helped take down an alleged California drug kingpin accused of shipping thousands of pounds of meth to the 4-state area. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke with Miami's chief of police to learn more.
Is now behind bars. This alleged California kingpin is accused of running drug rings that brought around 2,000 pounds of meth to northern Oklahoma and southwest Missouri.
This ring was just bringing in tons and tons of methamphetamine, starting in Mexico, bringing it in through California, over to Oklahoma, and the distribution network here through the Midwest.
Jacobo was arrested on Monday in Bakersfield, California, and one of the arresting officers is a member of the Miami Police Department. The Miami PD teamed up with police in Grove, the DEA, the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, and many other investigative agencies to bring Jacobo and his conspirators to justice.
They started this case, worked it here, worked the case backwards up through the kingpin, if you will, and flew out there with the DEA task force and finished up their case.
Miami Police Chief Thomas Anderson says local low-level arrests helped his team connect meth in Miami to the larger drug ring.
There were several local arrests, and you end up going to their buyer, or just working your way up the chain. But it does start with just local people using drugs and getting arrested.
9 other people were arrested with Jacobo on various drug conspiracy and criminal enterprise charges, including William Donovan Johnson III and Shawnee Brianne Kalaji of Grove and Kelly Wayne Bryan of Joplin. In Miami, Oklahoma, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Miami Police Chief Thomas Anderson also says he expects more local arrests to connected to the drug ring. Missouri's Child Welfare Agency does not properly report missing foster children, and that's according to a new federal report. The report from the U.S. Inspector General's office also found that the agency does little to ensure that kids who were missing and are found do not go missing again. The federal agency recommended that Missouri develop strategies for identifying foster children who are at risk of going missing. and better monitor caseworkers to ensure they follow reporting requirements involving foster children. In Miami, organizers of the 8th Annual Miami Festival plan to head for the rain and move the event inside to the Civic Center. There are a number of vendors set up shop to offer a variety of wares to local residents and visitors. This year marked the first time live music was featured, and it was not just performances, it was a band competition.
Miami is a musical town. We have a lot of artists that have originated from here, and so we are basically, all of us are working together to make Miami a music industry community.
There were 2 events scheduled for the festival that have been rescheduled for later this year. City of Neosho held its annual Fall Festival over the weekend despite the rain across the area. Around 140 vendors set up shop along the square, providing a number of unique items for folks to browse through and buy. Of course, food was also available from several vendors. In addition to the vendors, there was live music, a history alley, even a car show. However, that did not stop the rain from causing a few concerns.
I was a little worried. We were supposed to have bounce houses. They weren't able to come because of the rain. So I was a little worried that more people would cancel, but everybody's come out and I think everybody's doing well on sales, and it seems like there's, people at every single booth looking at things.
The festival has been going on for about 60 years now. Porch Fest is back in the Northern Heights neighborhood in Joplin's historic Murfreesburg district. Porch Fest, of course, is not a celebration of porches, rather a celebration from porches. There were artisans, food trucks, and the best part of all, a number of bands scheduled to perform. Bands set up on porches throughout the neighborhood, offering a walking concert for those in attendance. Porch Fest started in 2017. Cotty College in Nevada hosted its 12th annual Multicultural Festival over the weekend. The event highlighted a number of world cultures and celebrated diversity. This year's event was smaller than it has been in the past, but still included international foods prepared by Cotty College students, performances showcasing a variety of cultures, educational displays, and a lot more.
Giving back to the community. It's our way of sharing what makes us unique as an institution. And specifically, it's a way for our international students, our international faculty and staff to kind of give back, but also showcase where they're from and why it's important.
Organizers say the event also helps strengthen Cotty's connection to the local communities. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, COVID rates around the globe are going up rather than down. Plus, Scream's anniversary is celebrated by Airbnb. We'll have the latest. But first, it's 5:37.
Temperatures right now as low as 47 degrees, as high as about 58, 59, and eventually we'll go high 70s. Going to be very delightful. Not a whole lot of wind to combat, and then back down to the 50s overnight after sunset at 6:56. Really get some great October weather here for the first 4 days of the work week, with daily highs in the 70s, overnight lows dropping into the 50s. But then look at the heat wave coming for us at the weekend. Highs all the way into the 90s by Saturday. We'll be back with World Watch right after this.
Topping World Watch, only about 1/3 of the world's population is fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Developing countries lag far behind. Elizabeth Palmer explains why with this report from London.
In Britain this morning, more than 40,000 runners came out for the London Marathon, the first in 2 years. There's growing confidence that lethal COVID is in retreat, at least in the developed world. In Israel, too, vaccines, that is, 3 of them, including the booster, are the new normal for everyone over 12. That's coverage the developing world can only dream of. Many countries, especially in Africa, still don't have nearly enough, and their leaders blame trade and export restrictions in the developed world. African Union envoy Strive Masiyiwa.
We want to buy from their same manufacturers, but to be fair, those manufacturers know very well that they never gave us proper access.
The world passed another milestone in the pandemic this week. 5 million people have now died from the virus, 700,000 of them in the United States. There is a similarly high death rate in Russia. Only a third of Russians have had a shot of the locally developed Sputnik V vaccine. And this weekend, a record number of them, 1,700, died from the virus. Australia, too, is wrestling with a COVID surge. The city of Melbourne has rolled out a huge testing program as the country prepares to reopen foreign travel. And people in Melbourne will tomorrow win the dubious honor of having spent the most number of days under lockdown on the planet, 246 and counting. Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, London.
With COVID rates continuing to surge, it's uncertain when things will return to what is considered normal. Armed Taliban were guarding a mosque in Kabul on Sunday after several civilians were killed in an explosion nearby, according to Taliban spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid. The blast happened near the entrance of the Edega Mosque in Afghanistan's capital, Mujahid said. The details behind the explosion were not immediately clear, and Mujahid did not say exactly how many had died or were injured. The blast occurred on the main road just outside the Edega Mosque, where a prayer ceremony for Mujahid's mother was underway. And that's according to a Taliban source and Reuters. All of the victims are civilians, the source said, adding that there was no information on the exact number of casualties. Another Taliban official told Reuters at least 2 civilians were killed and 3 were wounded in the blast. No one has claimed responsibility so far. The Islamic State recently claimed responsibility for bomb attacks in the eastern city of Jalalabad. That's a look at some of our biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Not gonna lie to you, while you were reading that story, I was actually watching the bottom line of the ticker, and I see that Watered Gardens has opened up empty bowl pre-sales.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Such a marvelous event. I absolutely love that. And such a great event for a great cause and such great food. Let's not forget about that part of it as well. Tanya, this morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll, it's about movies, but more specifically, how do you enjoy watching them? Theaters are starting to see crowds again, and with the approach of the holiday season, studios are releasing highly anticipated titles such as Venom and the remake of Dune, if you've got 18 hours on your hands. That will be released later this month. For many months now, the practice has been releasing movies to streaming platforms such as Netflix and HBO Max. And of course, Tanya yesterday told us about the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit that, kind of was the crux of the whole situation as far as releasing it on streaming and doing so at the same time that it's in theaters. But as you saw earlier, Venom set a new pandemic-era record at the box office. Tanya, can you believe we're doing that now? Pandemic-era records is now what we're doing for theaters. But it's got people wondering, is it time to head back to the theater, or are more people still going to stream instead? Industry people say, nothing like watching a movie on the big screen. A lot to be said, of course, from watching a movie in the comfort and perhaps safety of your own home. So we ask you, what's your preference when it comes to watching movies? And we're still early on, but right now, 73% of you say, put me back at the old theater seat. 73%. You can take part each and every morning by going to komnewsnow.com/vote, or please connect to us via our Facebook page at KOAM News Now. We'll be back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Crawford County Sheriff says one of the suspects in a pursuit nearly hit a deputy during the chase. Now, this is an update to a story we brought you last Thursday. That chase started around noon when Crawford County deputies say they tried to stop a suspected stolen car. The driver did not stop, and that's when the sheriff says a deputy tried to deploy stop sticks and was nearly hit by the fleeing car. After a chase that ended in a bean field in rural Barton County, Missouri, authorities arrested 2 people. One of those suspects, Justin Cochran of Pittsburgh, has already been charged in Missouri. Charges are still pending in Kansas. A KOAM man will serve life in prison for sexually abusing a minor and illegally possessing parts of protected eagles. In May, Carl Ortner was convicted of abusing a minor on tribal land in 2016. Because the crime happened on tribal land, it falls under federal jurisdiction. In addition to the sexual abuse, Ortner was convicted of possessing feathers, talons, and heads from 7 bald eagles and 7 golden eagles. In addition to life in prison, a U.S. district judge ordered Carl Ortner to pay a $100,000 fine. Joplin Assistant City Manager and former Health Director Dan Pekarik will make his retirement official today. The city on Friday celebrated his retirement with a party. Pekarik began his career with the city of Joplin back in 1986. Empty Bowls pre-sales are underway. Empty Bowls is an annual fundraiser in which patrons buy a handcrafted pottery bowl, enjoy a serving of soup, and then have an empty bowl to take home to remind them someone somewhere is hungry. You can purchase your bowls at Joplin Greenhouse and Coffee Shop on 32nd Street in Joplin. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
So do you think we can just call Dan and just be like, no, we need an interview? The news is not the same without Dan Pekarik. It's just not, sound bites aren't going to be the same, Dan. Congratulations and well deserved, but I'm telling you, man, it's from everything, every role that he's filled for that city, what an amazing career. 53 degrees is where we stand right now, outside of 7th and Rangeline. We've dipped as low as 48 in Neodesha and Parsons, but it's been as high as 58 in Cassville. As a matter of fact, Cassville was up to 60 a little bit earlier. But that's, in some places, that's a double-digit decrease from what we had yesterday. Very, very clear, just a gorgeous, gorgeous early morning. Very calm as well. Give you an idea of the rain that we got last week. Ended up just about what we expected for the most part, anywhere between 1.5 to 2.5 inches. Look at that south of I-44 though, especially when you get around Monette and even down to Cassville. There we're pushing up about 4 to 5 inches. No flood warnings or watches. We've been able to escape those. Do have a little dense fog that we're putting up with this morning. Patchy fog, excuse me. Let's go patchy fog. I don't want to call it dense. We'll go patchy fog. But eventually, it's going to be a gorgeous afternoon. How about highs in the high 70s? Whole bunch of sunshine. Overnight, we're going to drop down to the 50s. We got about 3-4 good days here of good old-fashioned fall temperatures that are going to be dry and crisp, even with the morning humidity. Wednesday is really our next shot for a little scattered rain. Counterclockwise wants to kick it in off the Ozarks there from even all the way up to central Missouri. You can tell that's really scattered. A lot of it's going to miss us as well. And then we get ready for a heat wave. Fall's going to last about 4 days. And then we're going to be saying hello to the high 80s and 90s by the time we get to the weekend. We'll be right back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
This is...
Well, a record-setting Spanish artist now has a star in Hollywood and a special treat for fans of the Scream movies. Anthony Pura has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Hey, come on in. This is going to be fun.
You can stay if you dare in the house used in the original Scream movie. Airbnb has listed the Northern California home in commemoration of the film's 25th anniversary and upcoming sequel. Lucky fans will be greeted virtually by local Sheriff Dewey Riley, played by David Arquette. 3 one-night stays are available starting October 27th for $5 a night. Reservations open October 12th. Find out more on the Airbnb website.
There's something wrong here.
Paramount Plus has rolled out Peak Screaming, a month-long Halloween event featuring horror movies and seasonal episodes of iconic shows. The event includes the premiere of the film Paranormal Activity: Next of Kin, along with the season 2 finale of Evil. Catch all of it on Paramount Plus.
Why don't you stop and think it over?
Marie Osmond's upcoming album, Unexpected, contains a little bit of everything, from opera to classics to Broadway tunes. The star says the pandemic helped her slow down and use that time to take her singing career in a new direction.
This album, this is me pushing myself to be something other than what you perceive Marie to be.
The album is set for release December 10th. And Spanish artist Alejandro Sanz now has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The salsa and flamenco singer and composer received the honor Friday. Sanz has won 4 Grammy Awards and 25 Latin Grammy Awards. That's your eye on entertainment. Anthony Pura, CBS News, Los Angeles.
I'm trying to remember like the details of that first Scream house.
They do kind of run together.
Right. Was that the garage door house?
Sydney. You're never going to answer your phone this morning, are you? Now you just thought about that.
I'm going to go back and watch. Yes, that's the house. I know which one it was.
Tell me your name, I'll tell you mine. You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then of course, Sydney.
I can see you right now.
Still kind of freaks me out thinking about it. Tanya on the KOAM News Now Facebook. Well, if you go to Facebook this morning, you can go to @MichaelHayslip, KOAM. Got your quick hitter each and every morning, and you can also find that same thing on the gram. That's right, KOAMNewsNow.com on Instagram, and that will be the exact same forecast that's also available for you on the Skywatch Weather app. While you're at it, if you click on over to the KOAM News Now Facebook page, take part in our morning Instapoll. Our something to talk about this morning, streaming versus theater. Right now, 65% of you say, no, I want to get back inside the theater. All you have to do is either connect to us via Facebook or KOAMNewsNow.com/vote. Be right back after this.
Can you...
Patchy fog eventually going to rise up into the high 70s, though, and staying dry, fall-like weather until the weekend. Be back right after this.
Coming up, Miami police help in a massive meth bust. And a federal agency scrutinizes Missouri's Child Welfare Agency. Also, violence at a Joplin rally for abortion rights.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We're watching the temperatures this morning, which are actually pretty low.
Not too bad. No, it's a little cool. But, I mean, kind of what we'd anticipate for beginning of October. Average low, about 52 degrees. So we're right there. 55 right now over 7th and Rangeline. It is, excuse me, it is humid. But it's also very, very calm. 47 is our low point right now in Neodesha. Seeing Fort Scott dip down into the 40s as well. Cassville and Monette have been our highest at 56 and 58, and then 54 in Miami. Skywatch Storm Tracker, it is a clear morning. That is for sure a gorgeous shot of all the stars. If you have can peek past the fog, if you have it in your area. It's rather sporadic. It's not widespread fog, but do want everybody to be wary of that, particularly along I-49 and Highway 69. The reports where it seems to be the thickest when you go down into one of the valleys. Skywatch Storm Tracker, really the jet stream forcing everything off to the east of the Mississippi, and that's reciprocated on a severe thunderstorm risk map. That is not what I wanted. We do not care about that until Friday. Future Track's going to try to kick us some rain out of the Ozarks on Wednesday. So we got 2 dry days, and then on Wednesday, watch this little counterclockwise flip that tries to throw us here. It's certainly not going to be like anything that we had last week by any means. The majority of the 4 states, in fact, is going to stay dry. But after that transpires, then we've got a heat wave on our hands. It's going to lift us up into the high 80s, if not 90s, by the weekend.
Yeah. Warm up just in time for the weekend.
It's almost the opposite of what we'd expect to happen during the later summer times when we get a little rain and then a cold front moves in on the back of it. Because this thing moves in from the east, spins counterclockwise there, it allows the warm air to come right back in.
All right. Well, enjoy it. Or enjoy the first part of the week at least.
Oh, and like we're not talking about sweltering either. I mean, that's quite a bit above normal for October, but I mean, we're not melting.
True, very true. All right, thanks, Michael. Miami police helped bust an alleged California drug kingpin accused of shipping thousands of pounds of meth to the 4-state area. Luis Alfredo Jacobo is accused of running drug rings that brought around 2,000 pounds of meth to northern Oklahoma and southwest Missouri. Jacobo was arrested on Monday in Bakersfield, California. One of the arresting officers is a member of the Miami Police Department. The Miami PD teamed up with police in Grove, the DEA, the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, and many other investigative agencies to bring Jacobo and his conspirators to justice.
They started this case, worked it here, worked the case backwards up through the kingpin, if you will, and flew out there with the DEA task force and finish up their case.
9 other people were arrested with Jacobo on various drug conspiracy and criminal enterprise charges, including William Donovan Johnson III and Shawnee Brianne Callaghy of Grove, and also Kelly Wayne Bryan of Joplin. Missouri's Child Welfare Agency does not properly report missing foster children, and that's according to a new federal report. The report from the U.S. Inspector General's office also found that the agency does little to ensure that kids who were missing and are found do not go missing again. Federal agency recommended that Missouri develop strategies for identifying foster children who are at risk of going missing and better monitor caseworkers to ensure they follow reporting requirements involving foster children. Protests across the country on Saturday demanded continued access to abortion following the newest Texas abortion law, the most restrictive in the country. Right here in Joplin, protesters lined 7th and Range Line over the weekend to oppose the new abortion law and to protest the lack of abortion services in the Show Me State.
It's a nightmare right now.
Across the country, people are marching to oppose the new Texas abortion law. Here in Joplin, that's happening at 7th and Range Line.
When the Texas ban came, and then we saw the need to march nationwide.
Jamie Lindsay, the editor-in-chief of Julie Joplin Media, says she organized the march in Joplin to bring awareness to the lack of abortion resources in Missouri.
There's only one place in the state that you can get an abortion at, and that's in St. Louis.
That's a 4 to 5 hour drive from Joplin each way. And even when you get there, it's not an easy process.
There's already a 72-hour hold for abortion, so you have to basically travel twice or stay in St. Louis for a few days.
With access already restrictive, Joplin residents are worried it could get even worse.
We anticipate that they will continue to try to do similar things of what they've seen done in Texas.
Protesters say it's about a woman's right to choose.
Women in Missouri, individuals who support women in Missouri, don't believe it's the government's right to make these decisions for our body.
I have no man, no woman, and no government, because it's my body and my choice.
Now, those in favor of accessible abortion are trying to bring awareness to the lack of services, and that action shouldn't stop at these rallies.
What we can do is just continue to speak our voices, continue to push this reproductive freedom that we should have access to, and obviously call our senators, call our representatives.
Counter-protesters against abortion showed up as well, but declined to speak with KOAM. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
During the rally in Joplin, a fight broke out between 2 people, and that's according to the Joplin Police Department. They tell us a woman was assaulted by a man who was taken into custody. Jamie Lindsay, the event organizer, also tells KOAM she was choked by a woman, and when asked for details, the JPD said they were unaware of this second assault at the time and that it was an ongoing investigation. In 2019, Missouri enacted a law prohibiting abortions at 8 weeks of pregnancy. That law has yet to take effect after being blocked by courts. Plenty of people gathered in front of Ascension Via Christi in Pittsburgh on Saturday to protest the hospital's vaccine mandate. In late July, the hospital network announced it would require its associates to be vaccinated against COVID-19. In a statement announcing the vaccine mandate, Ascension Via Christi said, quote, "This decision is rooted in our mission commitment to leading with quality and safety. As a healthcare provider and as a Catholic ministry, ensuring we have a culture of safety for our associates, patients, and communities is foundational to our work." One of the protest organizers explains why so many people are opposed to the mandate.
We have come together and asked people to recognize that we have a right of choice, a right to decide whether or not to have the vaccine. We want to share who we are and our stories about why we're here, and just let people know that we feel that the right should be to choose and not be forced or mandated upon us.
Organizers said they'd protest rain or shine and did so until 3 p.m. on Saturday. 6:07.
We are going to have a sunny, and to answer your question, no, Michelle out of Manhattan is doing it. Sunny skies up into the high 70s today. It's going to be absolutely delightful despite the fact that we're off to a cool and humid humid morning. Future track is really going to keep us dry on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday will be our next bout, and it's not going to be anything like what we had last week. Watch it just kind of throw rain our way out of central Missouri. It's like central Missouri gets tired of it, and it's like, here, you guys have some of it. We're like, all right. And so one-shot deal right there, and then a heat wave just in time for the weekend.
Look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, stocks, Facebook, and this weekend at the box office. Plus, an underwater pipeline burst just off the Southern California coast. And good news in the fight against colorectal cancer. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, stocks rebound. Facebook's research gets exposed, and the winners and losers this weekend at the box office.
We started October on a positive note as stocks rose on Friday. The Dow rallied 483 points, the Nasdaq jumped 118, and the S&P 500 gained 49. This week, investors will be waiting for the monthly jobs report due from the Labor Department on Friday. Economists are predicting that the economy grew by 475,000 jobs in September. That would be a big jump from the 235,000 that were added in August. Frances Haugen revealed herself as the Facebook whistleblower on 60 Minutes. Haugen is a former employee that filed complaints against the social media giant with federal law enforcement. She says Facebook's own research shows that it amplifies hate, misinformation, and political unrest, but the company hides what it knows. Haugen plans to testify before Congress this week. She believes the federal government should impose regulations. A tale of two movie releases. Sony's Venom Let There Be Carnage brought in $90 million in its opening weekend, the highest haul since the pandemic began, and the second highest October box office ever. Meanwhile, The Many Saints of Newark, which was released in theaters and on HBO Max, brought in just $5 million, lower than the $7 to $12 million that was expected.
And that's it for Consumer Watch. We'll be right back.
Crews work throughout the weekend, not only in the ocean, but also on the beach, trying to clean up an oil spill off the Southern California coast. A suspected leak in an underwater pipeline spilled an estimated 126,000 gallons of heavy crude into the waters off of Orange County. Lori Perez, she's in Corona Del Mar with the latest on the cleanup effort.
Well, it's very disfortunate.
Residents we spoke with say they feel helpless knowing a massive oil slick of nearly 13 square miles is polluting the waters off Orange County. The source, a broken pipeline connected to an oil platform, leaked almost 130,000 gallons of oil just 4 miles off the Newport Beach coast.
It's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking. Why do we have to have these things out in the ocean? So close to the shore.
As darkened waves and black globs of tar have been coming in with the tide, health experts have been warning exposure to the toxic chemicals in petroleum can cause headaches, vomiting, and shortness of breath. Newport Beach has closed the ocean to swimming and surfing, though that didn't stop some from getting in. Likewise in Huntington Beach, stunning some neighbors like Todd Clark.
You could already see the oil on the water. So I was kind of surprised.
The offshore rig, called the Ellie, is operated by Beta Offshore, an affiliate of Amplify Energy, one of the largest oil producers in Southern California. Since the leak was revealed Saturday, Amplify crews working with state and local teams have been moving into place, spreading booms to contain the slick and using pressurized equipment to collect what they can. Environmental experts say the cleanup could take months.
We are fully committed to being out here until this incident is fully concluded.
The cause of the spill is still under investigation. Meanwhile, Congresswoman Michelle Steele has asked President Biden for a major disaster declaration here in Orange County. Lori Perez, CBS News, Corona Del Mar.
Supposed to get an update on the spill and cleanup this morning. Try to update you that on the KOM News at noon. Let's take a look at our daily almanac on this October the 4th, where that average daily low of 52, we've dropped a little bit below that, and certainly not going to challenge that record back to 1960. I was trying to pick up the Andromeda constellation, and the star Merak, if you look out to the west, because it is a brilliantly clear and gorgeous, gorgeous morning. We sit at 55 degrees right now over Joplin, high humidity, 96%, and temperatures, we had some 60s up on the board earlier in Cassville, now down to 58, as low as 47 in Neodesha and 49 in Fort Scott, 48 in Parsons. A bunch of 55s running through southwest Missouri, Lamar, Carthage, Neosho, Anderson, and Miami just a touch lower at 54. Cloud cover up to the north. Like I said, we were off to just a brilliant start. Kind of recap from last week, just about what we expected, anywhere from 1.5 inches, 2.5 inches. You get south of I-44 through southwest Missouri. That's where we saw anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 inches of rain, yet we still do not have any flood advisories, watches, warnings, and able to avoid that even with the patchy fog as well. No dense fog advisories. It is patchy. It's more low-lying areas, but want everybody to be apprised of it, getting the denser reports off of Highway 69 and I-49 on a northwest track or north-south track. Skywatch Storm Tracker, speaking of north-south, look at the jet stream. Just cuts in off the Canadian border, drops all the way to the Gulf course, makes an L shape, but what that does is it forces all the thunderstorm activity off to the east of the Mississippi. So we're going to be dry for the next 2 days. There's a chance for some scattered rain on Wednesday. It's very sporadic. Majority of the 4 states will remain dry. And then get ready for a heat wave headed into the weekend as we'll have high 80s and low 90s. Be back with Health Watch next.
Topping Health Watch this morning, risky driving may be genetic, and troubling new research on colorectal cancer. Naomi Ruckham has some of the day's top health stories.
Diagnosed cases of colorectal cancer fell dramatically during the COVID-19 pandemic. New research in Spain found cases dropped by 40% in a single year. Experts believe the decline is linked to far fewer colonoscopies being performed. The brains of depressed young people seem to react differently to unsettling information, possibly to help them cope. When depressed adolescents were shown images of people crying or being attacked, researchers from the University of Oxford found their brain scans displayed reduced activity compared to those of healthy adolescents. And researchers in Europe have identified a link between risky driving and other behaviors like eating junk food, drinking alcohol, or consuming energy drinks. They examined police and insurance records as well as blood tests of study participants and found people who are reckless in traffic may also be biologically inclined to take chances in other areas in life. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
Again, that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Get up into the high 70s today with plenty of sunshine. It'll be pretty calm, a little north breeze. Heat wave coming the weekend. Be back right after this.
Coming up, Miami police help in a massive meth bust. And a federal agency scrutinizes Missouri's child welfare agency. Also a festival celebrated on porches.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Let's go straight to Michael with a look at the forecast.
Got your film noir going on there. Yeah.
Like it?
Yeah, I know. Well, I was looking for constellations because it's so clear outside. That's point off to the west right there. You can find Andromeda. Look way more up than what my tilt actually provides, and you will find it because it's gorgeous outside right now. 55 degrees, high humidity, temperatures as low as 48 is our low point right now in Neodesha. We've been as high as 60, but Cassville now down to a very comfortable 56. Let's roll 55 in Carthage and 54 in Miami. Clean Skywatch storm tracker, everything, even the cloud cover pushing off to the north. Just a little recap of last week. As anywhere from really 1.5 inches, 2.5 inches is what we ended up with. We're going to be dry here next several days. We do have some early morning fog, however, especially along I-49 and Highway 69 on that north-south venture. Skywatch storm tracker pushes all the precipitation east of the Mississippi. Afternoon planner means sunny skies, highs around 80 degrees with a little northerly breeze, and then overnight dropping back down into the 50s. Very comfortable fall weather. and pretty dry, not abnormally dry because we've got the humidity. But then on Wednesday, we get a little bit roll in here from central Missouri and just kind of flip over on us in a counterclockwise fashion. It's going to be very sporadic. Majority of the 4 states going to stay dry. It'll be the east and the north that actually does see the most rain. And after that, get ready for a little heat wave into the weekend. High 80s, if not low 90s by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah. It's going to get hot, but it's not going to be stifling like you said.
Right. It's not oppressively hot, and really it is a nice taste of fall weather there for 4 consecutive days.
We'll take it.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Police in Miami, Oklahoma helped take down an alleged California drug kingpin accused of shipping thousands of pounds of meth to the 4-state area. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke with Miami's chief of police to learn more.
Luis Alfredo Jacobo is now behind bars. This alleged California kingpin is accused of running drug rings that brought around 2,000 pounds of meth to northern Oklahoma and southwest Missouri.
This ring was just bringing in tons and tons of methamphetamine, starting in Mexico, bringing it in through California, over to Oklahoma, and the distribution network here through the Midwest.
Jacobo was arrested on Monday in Bakersfield, California, and one of the arresting officers is a member of the Miami Police Department. The Miami PD teamed up with police in Grove, the DEA, the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, and many other investigative agencies to bring Jacobo and his conspirators to justice.
They started this case, worked it here, worked the case backwards up through the kingpin, if you will, and flew out there with the DEA task force and finished up their case.
Miami Police Chief Thomas Anderson says local low-level arrests helped his team connect meth in Miami to the larger drug ring.
There were several local arrests, and you end up going to their buy or their just working your way up the chain. But it does start with just local people using drugs and getting arrested.
9 other people were arrested with Jacobo on various drug conspiracy and criminal enterprise charges, including William Donovan Johnson III and Shawnee Brianne Kalaji of Grove and Kelly Wayne Bryan of Joplin. In Miami, Oklahoma, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Miami Police Chief Thomas Anderson also says he expects more local arrests connected to this drug ring. Missouri's Child Welfare Agency does not properly report missing foster children, and that's according to a new federal report. The report from the U.S. Inspector General's office also found that the agency does little to ensure that kids who were missing and are found do not go missing again. The federal agency recommended that Missouri develop strategies for identifying foster children who are at risk of going missing and better monitor caseworkers to ensure they follow reporting requirements involving foster children. In Miami, organizers of the 8th annual Miami Festival planned ahead for the rain and moved the event inside the Civic Center. And there, a number of vendors set up shop to offer a variety of wares to local residents and visitors. This year marked the first time live music was featured, and it was not just performances, it was a band competition.
Miami is a musical town. We have a lot of artists that have originated from here. And so we are basically, all of us are working together to make Miami a music industry community.
There were 2 events scheduled for the festival that have been rescheduled for later this year. The city of Neosho held its annual Fall Festival over the weekend despite the rain across the area. Around 140 vendors set up shop along the square, providing a number of unique items for folks to browse through and buy. Of course, food was also available from several vendors. In addition to the vendors, there was live music, a history alley, and even a car show. However, that didn't stop the rain from causing a few concerns.
I was a little worried. We were supposed to have bounce houses. They weren't able to come because of the rain. So I was a little worried that more people would cancel, but everybody's come out and I think everybody's doing well on sales, and it seems like there's, people at every single booth looking at things.
The festival has been going on for about 60 years now. And Porch Fest is back in the Northern Heights neighborhood in Joplin's historic Murfreesburg district. Porch Fest, of course, isn't a celebration of porches, rather a celebration from porches. There were artisans, food trucks, and the best part of all, a number of bands scheduled to perform. Bands set up on porches throughout the neighborhood, offering a walking concert for those in attendance. Porch Fest started in 2017. Cody College in Nevada hosted its 12th annual Multicultural Festival yesterday. The event highlighted a number of world cultures and celebrated diversity. This year's event was smaller than it has been in the past, but still included international foods prepared by Cody College students, performances showcasing a variety of cultures, educational displays, and a lot more.
It's our way of giving back to the community. It's our way of sharing what makes us unique as an institution. And specifically, it's a way for our international students, our international faculty and staff to kind of give back, but also showcase where they're from and why it's important.
Organizers say the event also helps strengthen Cody's connection to the local communities. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. President Biden's infrastructure bill is pushed back again. Plus, are you excited about going back to the movies, or would you rather just stream online? We let you weigh in, but first it's 6:37.
Fest makes me think about CCR looking out my back door. I don't know why. Everything, well, because you're talking about bands setting up on porches and everything. That's just kind of what that's what it kind of had the feeling of, you know? That had to be a great time. Highs today in the high 70s, whole bunch of sunshine. It's going to be absolutely delightful fall weather, not only for today, but also really for the next 4 days. Slight chance of rain on Wednesday, and then look at the heat wave. So yeah, let's just pretend it's fall for the next 4 days. Be back with Nation Watch next.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, President Biden will hit the road this week to promote his Build Back Better plans. Democrats in Congress are trying to find middle ground as different factions of the party make their demands. Laura Podesta has the latest.
Lawmakers are still negotiating President Biden's legislative agenda.
We all want the infrastructure bill. Great. But we also have got to do the reconciliation bill, which addresses the long neglected needs of working families and the elderly. You know, expanding Medicare to cover dental, hearing aids, and eyeglasses, doing childcare, doing community colleges.
Progressives say they're willing to lower the $3.5 trillion price tag, but want to keep in their policies on climate change, childcare, and more.
Fully fund what we can fully fund, but maybe instead of doing it for 10 years, you fully fund it for 5 years.
More conservative members of the party, like Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, have taken issue with the cost.
We understand we have to get 50 senators on board, and we have to keep everyone in the House on board.
Without the larger social spending bill, some House Democrats won't support the smaller $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that passed the Senate with bipartisan support in August.
We don't want to pit roads and bridges against childcare.
House Republicans say the spending would devastate the economy
and really be a kick in the gut to middle-class families.
President Biden travels to Michigan tomorrow to drum up support.
I believe I can get this done. I believe when the American people are aware what's in it, we can get it done.
Democrats hope to have both bills passed in the next month. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Also coming up this month, the debt ceiling. Congress has until October 18th to raise it. The Republicans say they will not help Democrats do so, despite raising it multiple times during the Trump administration. 1 month after the nation's most restrictive abortion law took place in Texas, a federal judge is considering whether to block enforcement of it. The law bans abortions as early as 6 weeks before most women know they are pregnant, and it allows private citizens to sue people who help patients get an abortion. It's not immediately clear when the judge will issue a ruling, but said he would give the matter careful consideration. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for something to talk about.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll comes down to people getting back into theaters. We're actually, what do we call it, Tanya? A pandemic era was the phrase that we used. Yeah, the new Venom movie. They're calling it a pandemic era record at the box office. Tanya and I both found that phrase just kind of fun. Are we going to bring back the top 5 ever? No, it's too hard. I don't want you to do it now. It's too hard. Like, I wouldn't expect you to have any idea. That's when we know we're back to normal, right? When Tanya's top 5 at the box office reemerges. Our producers don't even know about that.
We aren't anywhere close to being back to normal.
I know. That's what I'm saying. When the top 5 reemerges, folks, that's when we know we've made it. Anyway, our preference for you, or our question for you this morning, what's your preference when it comes to watching movies, whether it be theater or streaming it at home? This has gotten a whole lot tighter here as the show's gone on. Right now, 56% still say the theater, but that started off around 85% earlier this morning. Appreciate all the engagement. 2 ways to connect. You can always go directly to the poll at koamnewsnow.com/vote, or Tanya puts that on the Facebook page and she'll connect you there as well. Be back. Celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Purple Heart recipient Henry Gatewood Jr., a first sergeant in the United States Army. He served in Vietnam from 1969 to 1970, receiving the Silver Star, the Army Achievement Medal, and the Good Conduct Medal. Native of Parsons, Kansas, we thank you, Henry Gatewood, our four-state hero.
Why don't we start out with Adler Huckey with, oh, look at that kid's smile right there. That's the epitome of having fun, man. Adler, a happy second birthday to you. I can tell that you keep everybody around the household busy. Adler's in Oswego.
Corbin Insminger turning 3 years old this year. Looking good there, Corbin, in Moran, Kansas.
Sharp-dressed dude right there. Scarlett Long celebrating her 6th birthday. Scarlett, a very happy birthday to you. She's in Columbus.
I'd rather be at Hogwarts too, Scarlett.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, and then Heidi Mingarelli turning 8 years old this year. Love that outfit.
That's great.
Heidi is in Hepler.
That is great. All right, Audrey Helm is turning 11. Tell you a little bit about this picture right here. That's for you. Princess of the Axerban. All right, that's where she was. She was just one of 20 kids from 14 states to compete at this livestock show in junior showmanship. Audrey, that is phenomenal, kiddo. And now a very happy birthday to you, and thank you for representing the 4 states right there. She's in Seneca, by the way.
I love the serious look in that picture too. I love a nice picture. And let's see, we've got belated birthday wishes going out to Aubrey Bruner, who is now 11 years old. She's in Lockwood, Missouri.
On to the teenage years, where Sebastian Skinner, are we locked into a roller coaster?
I think so.
That's what I'm going to guess right there. Sebastian, hope you had a marvelous birthday weekend, my man. This comes with love from mom, dad, and your big sisters. He's got people watching out for him there.
All right, Adelaide Borjas is celebrating birthday number 13 this year. Adelaide is in Humboldt, Kansas.
Oh, beautiful name right there. I love that, Adelaide. Cadence Kilbrew. Cadence is celebrating her 15th birthday up on the tractor, and Cadence celebrating in Baxter Springs.
All right, and Gerard turning 15 as well. It's time to celebrate for Zach Benzo.
Yeah, not a Rari, not a Lambo, need a Benzo. What?
I'm just laughing at you, Michael.
Oh. Oh, that's what I'm going to shout out at him. Happy birthday to Zach and Gerard. Well, just because I dropped some rap lyrics during a birthday celebration, we don't need to bring this show to a screeching halt. Look at this. Get your driver's license ready. We can flip it, guys.
And the pictures move on to the next one. There we go.
All right, anyway, a little Panther pride, but more importantly, the Harrell family is now like, uh-oh, he's got a license and he's legal. Tucker, a very happy birthday to you. Tanya and I were talking during the break. It's amazing to see you mature into the young man that you are. It's absolutely great, a testament to your entire family. We know you. I hope you know that we love you. So happy birthday to Tucker.
All right, Macy Haley is sweet 16 as well. Macy celebrating down in Miami.
War Dog pride right there. Luke Majors, he is celebrating his 17th birthday. Luke's out of Fort Scott High School. All you Tigers out there, when you see Luke today, wish him a very happy birthday.
All right, Jared Johnson turning 18 years old. He's got the balloons to prove it there.
No joke.
Jared is in Pittsburgh, and your birthday wishes come with love from Mom, Dad, and Avery.
A balloon for every year right there, Jared. Allie Wells also celebrating an 18th birthday. Love that colorful picture, Miss Allie. She's in Columbus.
And turning 19 this year, it's time to celebrate for Tristan Perrin.
Cool picture. Love that. Love that. Maxwell Helm out in Seneca. What we got there?
Eating some ribs.
Oh, yeah. All right, Maxwell, now you're going to make me go get breakfast early. Happy birthday to Mr. Maxwell in Seneca.
Lynette Downing turning 45 this year. In Frontenac with love from Dad,
Lynette at
Susan,
45.
and the family. Little throwback. For some reason, I see that and I think of Alice through the looking glass.
Cool. It's a cool picture, though. I like
Yeah.
that. Yancey Persinger is celebrating number 54. Yancey, a very happy birthday in Joplin.
And happy birthday from your wife,
Hey,
Cheryl.
what up, Bill?
Going out to Bill Harvey, who's now 61.
Cheryl's got to put up with him. Bill, happy birthday, my man. I hope I run into you soon. Marcia Bourret. Wow, what a marvelous family photo right there. Happy birthday to Miss Marcia. She celebrates 67 with the entire family in Chanute.
All right. And in Pittsburgh, Rex Terry turning 70 years old this year. That's a cool picture, too.
That's a cool picture. Huh. I don't know where that was taken, but that's really neat. Barbara Broyles is celebrating her 77th birthday. The Broyles establishment, dating back to 1960, is it 2? I'm trying to look behind her right there. Love that sign on your front, Barbara, and I love that picture as well. A happy birthday to you in Neosho.
Kim Trowbridge celebrating 29 again in Chanute.
Wait, didn't Kim turn 29 last year?
I'm not saying that. I'm just seeing a note that says she's 29 this year.
Oh.
Happy birthday from your best friend, Josie.
Hold on, I'm making a mark on my calendar to make sure when October 4th rolls around next year to see if Kim turns 29. Let me go ahead, let me write this. I'm making a note. Comes from Josie.
No, she'll be 28. You see how that
Kim,
works?
29, possibly 28. Yeah, well, I'm going to keep my eyes on that one. I'm curious. Cheryl Haynes celebrating a birthday.
Oh, we missed one there.
Oh, Chris Kerr. Chris Kerr celebrating number 47. Yeah, but I didn't know that was Chris on the left right there.
I didn't either.
Well, Chris, happy 47.
He's in a costume. That's why
happy
you didn't
birthday
know.
with love from you. Oh, it'd be nice if I read the note. I'm an idiot. So here's okay, wait a second. So Kim Trowbridge celebrates 29. I'm going to guess that's Kim on the right. Chris is celebrating number 47. And Chris comes with happy birthday with love from Josie and the girls. Now Josie also turned in Kim's picture. Now I'm starting to put this together.
She found a picture with her husband and her best friend in it and turned that one in. That's what she
Right.
did. Okay. You got it now? You got it figured out?
I got it, yes.
To your defense, Chris is in costume here. I don't think that's his real hair, so you didn't recognize him.
We don't know that either. I'm making a note of that on my calendar.
Okay.
And we'll revisit that October 4th, 2022.
All right, let's move on.
Check Chris Kerr's hair, picture from Josie. Okay, got it.
She'll be 29. Let's see,
Oh, it's
Cheryl
Cheryl's
Haynes.
birthday. I love you, Cheryl. Cheryl, a very happy, I thought you were going to, I'll go. Cheryl, a very happy birthday to you. This is another person that I love running into every now and then. Just haven't seen her in a while. And Cheryl, it's so good to see your face, ma'am. A happy birthday in Riverton.
Dennis and Amanda Dubé are celebrating their 7th anniversary this year. They're in Joplin. Their anniversary is actually October 3rd, but both of them have birthdays on the 4th. That's cool.
Ann Mingarelli. Oh, remember when we did Heidi earlier?
Yeah.
We had Heidi's picture. She was about the 4th one in. Well, anyway, this is Heidi's grandmother, Ann, with a birthday as well. How cool is that? Celebrating grandma and granddaughter birthdays. Ann, a very, very happy birthday to you as well. Autumn Todd, celebrating a birthday, and Lindsay Cavanis, now 24. Happy birthday to Lindsay in the ocean.
Daniel and Sonia Blackford are celebrating 18 years together. They're in Lamar. And our neighbors in Lawton, Kansas, Adam and Christy York, are celebrating their 13th anniversary.
What's up with the no pick on the Yorks? Christy, just give the picture to Adam and tell him just to drop it by. Like that.
I don't know.
Congratulations to Adam and Christy. Happy birthday, happy anniversary to all as we open up October. That's where you can send them into birthdays@KOAMTV.com, or you can also go to our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. And while you're on our website, here's Tanya Bach with some very important birthday announcements.
Yep, you can go to KOAMNewsNow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Be sure to do that today. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Crawford County Sheriff says one of the suspects in a pursuit nearly hit a deputy during the chase. This is an update to a story we brought you last Thursday. That chase started around noon when Crawford County deputies say they tried to stop a suspected stolen car. The driver did not stop, and that's when the sheriff says a deputy tried to deploy stop sticks and was nearly hit by the fleeing car. After a chase that ended in a bean field in rural Barton County, Missouri, authorities arrested 2 people. One of those suspects, Justin Cochran of Pittsburgh, has already been charged in Missouri. Charges are still pending in Kansas. A Quapaw, Oklahoma man will serve life in prison for sexually abusing a minor and illegally possessing parts of protected eagles. In May, Carl Ortner was convicted of abusing a minor on tribal land in 2016. Because the crime happened on tribal land, it falls under federal jurisdiction. In addition to the sexual abuse, Ortner was convicted of possessing feathers, talons, and heads from 7 bald eagles and 7 golden eagles. In addition to life in prison, a U.S. district judge ordered Carl Ortner to pay a $100,000 fine. Joplin Assistant City Manager and former Health Director Dan Pekarik will make his retirement official today. The city on Friday celebrated his retirement with a party. Pekarik began his career with the city of Joplin back in 1986. Empty Bowls pre-sales are underway. Empty Bowls is an annual fundraiser in which patrons buy a handcrafted pottery bowl, enjoy a serving of soup, and then have an empty bowl to take home to remind them that someone somewhere is hungry. You can purchase your bowls at Joplin Greenhouse and Coffee Shop on 32nd Street in Joplin. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Very happy retirement to Mr. Pekarik, who I'll tell you this much from a journalism perspective, never ever skirted an interview request, always gave you information, and just one of the nicest people that I've had the opportunity to work with. Dan, I hope retirement treats you very, very well because it's very, very deserved. Live look outside of Television City. It's gorgeous, gorgeous Monday morning. It's a little bit chilly out there. We've dropped as low as 48 in Neodesha, Parsons, Pittsburgh at 49. A little bit better in Southwest Missouri, 55s in Carthage, Monette, and Neosho. And eventually, we're going to roll up into the high 70s. Whole bunch of sunshine today. And 4 consecutive days of nice fall weather. A little scattered rain on Wednesday. And then a heat wave hits us just in time for the weekend.
Coming up today at noon, we're making city chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
What does that say for all us country folk?
Something new to check out.
Boy, I tell you, you picking your own fight. You picking your own 4-state fight, you won't bring up chicken.
Hey, this is what Howard decided.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
The late, great Jack Overman and I know that. Your morning news continues on KOAM, CBS Morning News. That's coming up next.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues.
Have a great morning. Do me a favor. Be safe. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.